up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Vaughn. Mr. Vaughn's channel, Sweatbox. We back, we live, we active. Yes, we are. Another week, another episode of The Walking Dead. Let's talk about it. This is season 7, episode 12. 12? I think it's 12. Called Say Yes. And I like this episode. I actually like this episode, even though it had a couple of moments that any other time that during this show I'd have been like, come on, Walking Dead, stop it. But even in this episode, those moments I bought. So this entire episode was about Rick and Michonne out on a solo mission. Well, it's not really a solo mission, but the two of them are out on a solo mission looking for supplies, specifically guns. And then the side story was Rosita and her downward spiral into insanity, I guess you can call it. Which, even now, because you know I've complained about how they're doing Rosita's character with how she's dealing with all the stuff with Negan, I'm not a big fan of that. But even in this episode, I'm still not on board with the entire storyline and the way, but it didn't bother me. Maybe because it was a very small part, because I'd say 90% of this episode was Rick and Michonne on their solo mission. And that was very entertaining stuff. Starts out with them in the with them in the truck scavenging. There's a little montage of them scavenging and not finding much. Intercut with them straight bashing each other's guts. It's basically the Rick and Michonne honeymoon. When they're not out killing zombies and finding supplies, they're pretty much fucking. They're in there making sweet love. It's so sweet. Stop. I like Rick and Michonne. I'm not hating on that at all. I think they're awesome together. But that's basically what this episode was. And then when they get to the carnival, before it was like a safe zone, I guess it was. I'm not sure what it was, but it was like a place where a bunch of military guys were. There were a bunch of guns there, so they did find a bunch of guns. That was the thing, and once they found the guns, I was like, oh, so are they not gonna do Oceanside? Are they not gonna need Oceanside anymore? And then the other part of the story with Rosita and Tara had a small part in it too, because Tara's having the inner monologue with herself on whether or not she should tell the rest of the group about Oceanside and all of the guns that they got. So that's finally come up, and in the end, she finally did. Well, but they didn't show her. They didn't show us telling Rick, but she walks up to Rick once they get back. She's like, Rick, I gotta tell you something. But the guts of this story is Rick and Michonne out getting supplies. They come up on the carnival, and there's a bunch of really cool scenes. Of them killing zombies. I like the scene where Michonne's like, what? You left me 8? It's like, come on, you can handle 8. You about that life. You can handle 8. You ain't no punk. I love it, but that's real. Michonne's a killer, son. She's a straight killer, and she was handing out murder. I liked it. I liked all the moments between the two of them when Michonne is like, so after we kill Negan, somebody's gonna take over. It has to be you. Rick is like, man, I don't even want to be leader. I just want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Once you go black, you never go back. That refers even to the white boys too. He's sprung on him. He'll risk it all for Michonne, son. He'll risk it all for Michonne. I can't be mad at her. Denai's hot. She's hot. Especially with them braids in her hair, walking around looking all murderous, swinging that sword. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. So, and so then there's the whole scene of them. So they find a bunch of guns on the it's not a military base, but on the carnival / military outpost or whatever it was. They find a bunch of guns. They have to kill a bunch of walkers, yada yada yada. They go through the motions of that. Now the one scene that was super cliche Walking Dead, that even if it had been any other episode or any other scene, I would have been pissed. Like, come on, why are you guys doing this? There's a scene where Rick and Michonne get split up and they're fighting walkers separately, and Rick sees a deer, and he was trying to make up for forcing Michonne to give the deer to Negan in the earlier episodes, in like 4 or 5 in the first half of the season. He's trying to make up for that, so he's going to shoot the deer, and he falls off of a building, and he gets surrounded by walkers. Michonne goes over there to save him, and it looks like the walkers get him, and it looks like that they're just straight up eating him. There's like 10 walkers, and they're eating something, and then Michonne's like, oh no! And she drops her sword, and she's basically just, and she's almost about to she's about to give up. And I'm like, come on. Like, here's the thing. Not for a half of a millisecond did I believe that Rick was dead. Not for one iota. Not even a little bit did I even think Rick. So I was like, come on. That's cheap for you guys to do this. It's the Glenn dumpster all over again. That's what initially that's what I thought. But then I was like, okay, how they wrapped it up, it was cool. They didn't drag it out. It was like 10 seconds. What made the scene was Michonne's reaction. I gotta give her some credit. Her reaction to seeing Rick getting eaten, in her eyes, what she thought was Rick getting eaten by zombies, where she just drops the sword and she's like, it's over. We've lost. I give up. Eat me too. I mean, that was a great scene. I like that scene. And they didn't drag it out too long. They didn't go to commercial or nothing like that. It was 10 seconds where she is, and then Rick hops out of this little container that he was hiding in, picks up the sword and tosses it to her in slow-mo like it was a John Woo flick. She catches the sword and just starts murdering people. I was like, you guys are doing too much. I'm mad that I like that. I'm mad that I gotta give you guys props for that dope scene. So any other time or any other show or even any other time in this show, if they had done some bullshit like that, you know Rick's not gonna get killed. But the combined fact of Michonne's reaction and then Rick coming out and tossing her the sword in slow-mo, I was on board with it. So call me a sucker for that one. That scene was pretty awesome. That was actually my favorite scene of the episode. Because at first I was about to be mad, and then I was like, oh, okay, I like what you did there. So kudos to the Walking Dead guys. That was a good scene. So then they get the guns and they go meet the junkyard people. Oh, this is the one scene that I didn't like because I'm sold. Let me just put a stamp on this once and for all. I don't like the junkyard people. At least the leader, because we don't really know anybody else out of the junkyard people besides the leader. But I hate the way she talks. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's ridiculous. Stop it with the stupid way she talks. I hate it. I don't like the junkyard people. And when they go to war with Negan, I want them all to get killed. You can call me a terrible person if you want to. I don't like the junkyard people. And that's all I'm going to call them, junkyard people. I'm not even going to learn their names. Because I don't care, because I don't like them. But they go to see the junkyard people. They take them the guns. And she's like, that's not enough. We need more guns. He's like, what? And so he's like, fine, we'll get more guns. Which is then they get back to Oceans. They get back to the spot. What's the name of their community? I wanted to call it Hillside. Whatever the name of their, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm sorry. That's when Tara tells Rick, "Hey, I got to talk to you," and that's when, and presumably, she tells him about Oceanside because she had the inner monologue with herself of whether she was going to tell him or not, and so presumably she tells him about Oceanside, and it looks like we're going to be going back there next week, in next week's episode. So, yeah, I like this episode. Overall, this was a good episode. I can't front, man. Despite you take out and it was only the one scene with the junkyard people, so I didn't mind that. It was, even though I can't stand the junkyard people, it was only one scene, so I like that. I love the negotiating with. I did like when Rick was negotiating with the guns. Fine, we're keeping 10 guns for our people. And she said, "I want the cat back," or the dog, whatever. When Rick stole the statue, I think it was a cat statue. I don't remember. She was like, "I want the statue back." He was like, "No. Fine, we're taking 20 guns and I'm keeping the statue." She was like, "Fine." Say yes. And then that's when they got the call back to the name of the episode. Say yes. She was like, so yeah. Overall, it was a good episode. Looks like we only got 4 episodes left. I feel like, am I forgetting anything that I need to talk about real quick before I wrap this up? They found a bunch of food. Oh yeah, that was another thing. They found a bunch of food. Rick and Michonne had a candlelight dinner over MREs. Meals ready to eat. For those of you guys who not know about the military food that they be giving the soldiers and stuff, they found a whole bunch of that in packets of canned food and all that. So they read up their supplies pretty good. They found like 60 guns and they gave like 40 of them to the junkyard people. And so the episode, yeah, let me show you how it ends. So the end of the episode ends with Rosita going to see Sasha at the hilltop. And she's like, "I need your help." And so Sasha's like, all right, I'll do it, but you gotta let me take the shot. So then Rosita pulls out this gangster ass sniper rifle, and they're like, let's do it. So they're basically gonna go on a suicide mission because they said, well, we can't fail. We're probably not gonna live through this. We can't let them. If they get caught, we can't be taken alive. Yada yada yada, stuff like that. So they're pretty much going on a suicide mission. And on a lighter note, I'll be kind of upset if they kill two of the hottest women on the show, because Sasha and Rosita are both beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, if you're asking me. So don't do that to me. But even though Rosita's storyline has been so irritating, I like the dive into her character and giving her character so much more scope. I liked that. I just don't like how they're doing it. She's just been so like what's her name on Talking Dead was like, get over it. Everybody's lost people. You're being stupid, and I agree. Her behavior is just very stupid, and it's kind of not. Even though we haven't had that much character development with Rosita, it feels like her actions are going against whatever character that we knew. It feels like this is not the Rosita that we've known. And I know, granted, she's been through the traumatic experience of watching Abraham get his brains bashed out by Lucille, but still. So I'm still not on board with that. But we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how Sasha and Rosita deal with that. And will they really kill both of them off? I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they got the balls to do it. But I've been wrong before. So, alright. That's my review of Walking Dead. Episode Say Yes. Season 7, Episode 12, I believe it is. Keep it locked right here, Mr. Von's channel, Sweatbox. And, of course, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And, as always, you know how we do. Until next time, y'all. Peace. 100.